Hey everyone, Real with Wes, day 2 coming at you. Hope everybody's doing well. Talking about day 2 here, talking about it's a moment. And this week's probably one of my hardest Real with Wes weeks to talk about. Most challenging, most raw one, to be honest, sometimes. I try to keep it authentic with you guys and not like always fluff that, everything's just perfect. I think sometimes we can look at ministers here and preachers and think we don't go through all the same things everybody goes through. Everything's okay overall. Sometimes we don't say that because everybody's like, oh my God, start panicking. It's not that. We just go through life and life's challenges like everybody else. So this week, as much as I think you're going to benefit, there's going to be a lot I'll even be preaching to myself already at the start of this week. But I hope everybody's doing well. But we got into the scripture at 2 Corinthians 4:17, where Paul was talking about my light and momentary affliction, my small and present troubles. And he was comparing them to are small when you compare them to the eternal things, to eternity and the far greater glory. And let me tell you, guys, a moment, when I say a moment, it becomes a moment only when you compare it. Now, I don't want to sell this thing, this fantasy that everything is going to be an instant fix. Nothing good happens, nothing good long lasting happens in just one moment. It's a collection of moments is what it is. That moment may be a year, to be honest. You're like, that's a moment in comparison. Now, if you're not comparing it, it can seem like a lifetime. But it's doing the day-to-day grind. And some days it is a grind, to be quite honest. It's not this, woo, every day. Some weeks you're going to want to quit. Some days you're going to want to just throw it all against the wall. Some days you are going to fall apart and make mistakes. And you're going to have bad moments. But it's the collective ones. It's the getting back up. It's the don't make a decision that's permanent in a moment of heat and realizing, hey, this may be that moment may be more of a season. That's what we talk about. I don't think Paul was trying to minimize that. Hey, they aren't going through all these crazy things. It's the reason he could say that was because of what he was comparing it to. I'm learning more and more, and I say learning myself, that the harder the pressure, the more the pain, the more the trouble that comes a lot of times, the greater what is on the other side. But it doesn't make the moment you're going through any less painful a lot of times, or any less troublesome. You think what Jesus went to when he was facing the cross. He had to come to this place, and I'll probably touch more on this tomorrow. He had to come to this place. It's like, God, I don't want to do this, but I know what's on the other side. And that was what carried him through. It wasn't trying to minimize the fact that you could get around going to the cross. You could get around going through all the pain. You could get around all those things. The truth was you couldn't. And it's easy, and I have to remind myself of this all the time. And I told you this week I'll be preaching myself probably, and you'll get the benefit of it. It's easy to want to run from things. It's easy to want to cower out from things, because some things are scary when you face them. Some moments are very challenging in life. And it's that flip and that switch when you compare it. Well, how big is my God, though? And you move that trust over. And you come from this place of fear and you say, let me move it over to trust now. Because, man, some of those moments are scary. But realize, pushing through that moment, when it seems crazy, when you're not doing it right, when your emotions are all over the place, when you have to also challenge yourself to grow in your character, it's not getting perfect. That moment, there's something else working on the inside of you. And so what I'm saying is, don't try to bypass the moment. Embrace it. Embrace that moment. They said this in the scripture. I forgot where it was exactly, but I remember it flashed across my mind just then. Him embracing the cross. Man, because Jesus embraced the cross, he overcame death. There was something beautiful and so powerful by embracing it. Embracing that horrific thing he went through. And sometimes in life we'll go through things. Now, are you saying we're going to go through the cross? No. I'm not wishing that on anybody. I'm not looking to become a martyr or anything like that. Nobody wants to do that. But there's emotionally painful things we're going to go through in life. And they're going to just, pardon me, but kind of suck some days. But realize it's a moment. And if you'll actually embrace it, what you'll find is the grace to get through it. Sometimes trying to avoid it, sometimes trying to run from it, sometimes trying to avoid the confrontation is actually what is us trying to get out of that moment and actually creating more moments of problems. But embracing it We'll find the wisdom, we'll find the grace. It comes to this place of recognizing our weaknesses and realizing in our weaknesses, God is stronger. And it brings us to the end of ourselves. So whatever you're going through, realize the moment, it may seem like a longer time than you think. It's not some instantaneous thing. It's doing the work day in, day out. But putting together a string of those days, man, those moments together is so much bigger when you look back at it. And later you're going to see a far greater glory. So what is it telling you at the end? What's your overall thing? Don't quit. Don't give up. I really do know what it's like to want to quit and give up. There are many days I've faced to just want to say, this would be a lot easier if I just go hide off back somewhere and just don't deal with all this mess. And yet I have to realize there's a greater responsibility, that's not a way you really want to live life. And it's really selfish too, by the way. So it's challenging ourselves to move forward, to press forward. And that's my encouragement to you today. All right, guys, we'll get more in tomorrow. I know my days are still a little off here. We're working on so many things here at the ministry right now. It is really taken a lot from me to do this, which is awesome. It's fun. We love it. We're so honored to be able to serve you guys. But just know some of the schedule will be patient, but these videos will be there. You can go back and watch them. Go back and watch the previous ones. But I'm going to keep this coming to you, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Have a great day, everyone.